what's up you guys? So we just wanted to make this video because we told you guys over on our Instagrams that we would be giving you guys an update about what happened the other day. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we're gonna tell you now. But basically we had a little scare.
Big scare.
Big scare.
Like big scare. Like I almost cried scare.
Like really scary. Especially it's just really scary because I'm pregnant. Because it's not like this is the first time something like this has happened, but it's the first time that it's happened being pregnant. So we've made a video about my heart condition before. It's down on our YouTube. You can watch it to get like some more information about it exactly, but we'll kind of explain it really quickly. I have Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, and basically I just have an extra pathway in my heart, and sometimes it can get like out of rhythm and go to that pathway, and basically it just causes my heart to start racing, like just get out of rhythm. It's not on its regular rhythm. Yep. But anyway, so it'll start beating like crazy, and this past Friday it was up to like...
It was up to 194 beats per minute.
Yeah.
And so like, to put it in perspective, I'm a male and males typically have higher heart rates and stuff like that when working out. And like when I go, I could run like 5 miles and the highest my heart rate will get up to is like 150. And then like my resting heart rate and her resting heart rate would be somewhere around 65 to 75.
Yeah.
In that range. So to be at 194,
that's like basically 200.
Well, that's insane. Like obviously you should seek medical attention immediately.
Yeah. And so again, we shared this all in the video down on our page, but like I got diagnosed with this when I was little. We've known I had it. They told me I could grow out of it one day as I got older. We had talked about surgery before, but we always just held off because as I was getting older, it was kind of getting better. Like I used to have episodes, and when I say episode, that's just where like randomly my heart, like, you know, you can see my shirt moving. My heart just starts going. My whole body feels weird. Sometimes I can get like, I've never passed out or anything. I've always been like okay and awake, but like sometimes I can get kind of like blackout. I just feel really weird. And there's things you can do, like I sit down, put ice packs on me. You can get like upside down on your head to try to like do anything to like get it to go back into its regular rhythm. And all my episodes, like in the past, my whole life have lasted like 5 minutes most. Like
I think you told me that was like the tops. Like
yeah.
5 minutes was like the absolute max.
And that feels long, like when it's happening, because it's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So anyways, as I got older, I used to have episodes like all the time when I was little, and like caffeine can trigger it, working out, doing things like that. So like I never really have caffeine anymore. I don't take medicine for it anymore. When I was little I did, and because it was really bad. But again, as I got older, it kind of just slowed down. And besides this past week, the last episode was 2 years ago. And so we were just like, it's basically gone. Like we don't want to risk having surgery, you know, like, because there's risks, like, yeah, you'd have to get a pacemaker if things didn't go well. And so I was like, you know, if I really need the surgery, I will. But we just kind of kept pushing it off because
I feel like we sort of came to like the conclusion like that it had been so long, you know, 2 years without an episode, that I felt like we had talked about it and we felt confident. I don't know if confident is the word, but we felt assured that, you know, surgery wasn't the thing for us at that time. And like, you know, at that time, I mean like a couple days ago, like before a couple days ago, we did not think that was like needed really.
And besides pregnancy out of the picture, we really were confident like I didn't need it. The only thing that ever made us feel like maybe I should get it was because I had some doctor's opinion saying when you're pregnant, you know, it could cause more stress and things like that. But we got married and we got pregnant almost immediately. And so I know people had surgeries while being pregnant, but that absolutely like terrifies me, and it's like almost just not an option.
And most doctors like try to stay away from that. It's like that's like
life
last
or death.
resort. Yeah, like pretty much.
So anyways,
so this past Friday is when things kind of took a turn. It became like very surreal and very scary really quickly. I had just got done working out at the gym, and we live like 2 minutes away from the gym. And so I was literally pulling into the driveway, and Soph called me, and I could hear in her voice that she was kind of freaking out. And she's like, hey, I'm having an episode. And I was like, okay, I'm jumping out of the car. So
which is random because it's been 2 years.
And it's been 2 years. So, but you know, I was kind of prepared. Like I was like, okay, you know, typically it lasts 3 to 4 minutes. So I'm thinking by the time I get down there, you know, by the time I get inside, it's going to be gone. You know, she'll be calmed back down and everything.
And real quick, I'll say, I was at the apartment by herself. And thank goodness he was like a minute away, 30 seconds away. But I was just in the apartment by myself. I hadn't been being like super active, no caffeine. I had been really hydrated, wasn't hungry, just had a meal. Like there was nothing really that I was doing that could have caused reason for it. Like, you know, I was just in our apartment and next thing you know, it just came on, like so random. And so I just sat down and then he came in like a minute later. I had already grabbed like some frozen broccoli packets out the fridge and I was like putting it on my face and my wrists.
Because they say that helps slow down your heart rate and it can kind of help it get back into rhythm.
Back when they used to only last 3 minutes, I wouldn't even do that half the time. So I was doing this and I was like coughing some because my mom was like, that can help like knock it back into rhythm, and nothing was working. So we sat in the living room for...
Well, this is when
you got back.
Yeah, my mom has her doctorate in nursing, so I put my watch on Soph, and my watch has like an ECG. It like monitors her heart rate and shows, you know, like the rhythm and everything. So my mom was like, here, do that real quick. So I put it on her, and her heart rate when I first put it on was 178. And with Soph being pregnant, that's pretty alarming that her heart rate was already that high. So my mom was like, all right, you've got to take her to the hospital. So we get in the car and it's still going on. It's now been, I'd say by the time we got in the car, like right at the beginning,
minutes?
15 minutes. And she keeps on like redoing the reading on the watch, and every time it gets higher, like by 2 or 3 beats per minute. About every minute it's getting higher. And so like I'm freaking out.
And it feels insane. Like I feel it in my, and that was what was scaring me. Like I can feel it in my stomach, like my stomach's moving. Because you know, if your heart's moving that fast, everything's like just pounding. And I'm like, it's just because I'm pregnant. Like yes, it's scary in the past, but like I can't even tell you, just knowing like there's a baby in there and my stomach's just pounding. I'm gonna put a video in. I took a video and you can see it a little bit, but just so you know what I'm talking about, I'll just put it on the screen. You can see it moving a little bit. I didn't really get a good video, but just so you understand what I'm talking about.
Like I said, it was about 15 minutes into the episode. We get in the car and we're headed straight towards the hospital. About 5 minutes later, I'd say 22 minutes into this episode. And remember, she's never had an episode longer than 5 minutes. So this is all new territory to her. You know, I've never seen one this long, stuff like that.
I've never gotten in the car and like went to the hospital either from an episode, because we just knew I had Wolff Parkinson White. It was gonna happen. I just had to let it go away. So this was like scary. Also, I'm just pregnant. So
yeah, we were scared for the baby and obviously you. So she does it again. Her heart rate finally got into the 190s, which was like, now
I could feel it too.
Yeah, now I'm really freaking out. I'm scared she's gonna pass out. So we get probably, I'd say 10 minutes before the hospital, and she goes, it's gone. And I look at the watch and
it was gone.
And it was
back in like 80s.
Yeah,
back in the 80s.
I think it was like 88 beats per minute.
Yeah.
And it was like literally someone snapped their fingers. She went from nearly 200 beats per minute to 80 beats per minute.
And I felt it. I was like, oh yeah, it's gone. And I put the watch on and I was like, told you. So weird. Like it's just so weird.
Yeah.
But we still were worried. Like I was like, I need to go in. I need to see the baby. I need to hear the baby heartbeat. Yeah. I need to know like what we're gonna do moving forward. Because I had talked with like this midwife who actually is now going to be delivering me. If
possibly.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But she knew I had Wolff Parkinson White, and so we had debated like seeing a high risk like as well, and we said no. And so it's kind of, this was like a sign, I think. So we got there and we got seen, and they hooked me up to like the EKG stuff, which I used to do all the time as a little girl. So they just like stuck me all over. And so their machine was kind of old and everything, but things were definitely like irregular. They could tell, and I wasn't having the episode, like I didn't feel the episode happening. Like as far as I knew, I was like, oh, it's gonna read completely normal, like my heart's not racing, but it looked irregular and I just felt fine. So I was like, well, that's pretty scary. But we don't know exactly. So we have an appointment in about a week, and we'll get more information about that and we'll update you guys.
And that's with the electrophysiologist. So he'll have the EKG slips, as well as I sent him the ECG from the watch, which is basically a very similar thing, just kind of a little less inaccurate. And so I sent him that as well. And so we have an appointment with him coming up. But for now,
we're actually down at the beach. I got cleared to leave that day. Yeah. You know, we're just at the beach, like taking it easy and stuff. Yes, he prescribed me 2 medications that are safe for pregnancy and baby and everything. So I'm taking those morning and night every day, which is probably good because I used to take, it's very similar to the medication I used to take when I was little, just safer for pregnancy now. And so that's good. I'm going to be seeing like high risk specialists, things like that for the rest of the pregnancy. I'm considered high risk. We still don't know a lot. Like, yes, I was cleared to come to the beach this week, but I don't know. I know a lot of people who are high risk can't like travel much out of state.
And that's why we're seeing the high risk here as soon as we get back. And the electrophysiologist felt confident with her syndrome as well as the EKG slips and the ECG slips. As long as she was on the medicine, he felt confident that she's fine to go to the beach and, you know, just take it extremely easy. You know, she doesn't need to.
He knows I'm with like family and stuff. Like
so he felt confident. So we were confident in that because he's the best at his job for where we're at.
Okay, so one other thing that we'll find out when we go back to our appointment is whether or not I may have to have like a C-section, and that's just like I never thought about. Like, you know, I never thought that would be like what we would do, and it may not. I may not have to. It may be like whatever I feel comfortable with, and then if I like try to do it vaginally, but things like just don't go as planned, we could just go into C-section from there.
And I feel like that's part of seeing the high risk doctor and stuff is, you know, we just want to make sure that the baby's going to be healthy, that Soph is going to be healthy. So we're going to take, no matter whatever precaution is needed to ensure the health and safety of them, you know, that's what we're going to do. And, you know, right now we're just trusting in the Lord's plan that he has for us and that he has for our baby, because at the end of the day, we just want both of them to be healthy and safe.
Yes. So I feel good. Like everyone's asking, how do you feel? Like what even, you know, a lot of people are confused what is an episode, and we kind of explained it, but it's once the episode's over, I'm like a normal person. I don't have any outside symptoms of it. I will say Wolf Parkinson White has like a lot of like, I get out of breath easier and like cardio's harder for me. Like my whole life I've just been like, even when I was just younger and more in shape, I was like, you would think I'm an old lady because I just like can't do this stuff. So I take like cardio and things like that really easy. Like we're at the beach and like I feel like I have to eat and drink just more. Like you already have to eat and drink when you're out in heat, but like I just have to like force things like, because it's just I will just pass out or black out or things so easily. So I just have to be really careful. But we have all of our family here this week with us at the beach, and we drove here. Like we can get home. I have a feeling if we're not supposed
and we're also near like very nice hospitals and stuff like that. But
if needed,
like we said, her doctors feel very confident, okay, and that she's going to be okay. We just may have to take more precautions in the future, and we'll know a lot more as soon as, you know, here in just about a week.
And they basically told me it's probably gonna keep happening, which is so scary because I'm like, okay, but honestly maybe not with medication. I think if anything, I'm gonna go to that appointment next week, and he might want me to wear a monitor, which I've done before, and that's basically where like from the hospital, like I have like this little monitor that I would wear, and then I have a phone and it sends my like results to them daily, hourly, and so they can kind of watch me and stuff. So I have a feeling they might just do that, but we will keep you guys updated. We just kind of wanted to tell y'all about the story and what happened, but we will know a lot more next week. So follow us like on Instagram if you want to probably hear more details and stuff about what's going on.
Yeah, and I'll be posting stories about, you know, if she can't get to her phone or anything like that, then obviously I'll be posting stories and keeping you guys updated. We also appreciate all the prayers that you guys have already prayed and are continuing to pray. We still greatly appreciate those, especially for Soph and the little one. We would have loved those. So
yes, and I know we said baby's all healthy, but like she totally is. We saw her on ultrasound. We heard her heartbeat. She is just like moving around in there. Like she's good.
But anyways, we love you guys. We're so thankful for y'all, and we'll catch you in the next vid.
Bye.
Taylor and Soph out.